Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, F8 Well Centers. Let's talk about testosterone. Let's talk about how dramatically testosterone has dropped. And the research is showing it's pretty profound. Over the last 50 years, testosterone has gone down 50%. So on average, 1 percentage point per year for the last 50 years. Why has that happened? And ultimately, what can we do about it? What can we do about, especially we're going to be talking about men today, but women, this is a very common thing as well. Women come in all the time, and I actually see more women now on testosterone replacement therapy than I do men. But here's what we're going to get to is the damaging effects. This isn't just, oh, I can't have an erection and I've got low libido, things like that. This has dramatic effects on potential leading into cancers, cardiovascular disease, all types of different things. Hey, everybody, pop down below where you're watching from. Love to see you guys all over the country, all over the world. Especially when we start talking about, just what testosterone does to the body, and to be a man, we need that testosterone, and we need it to have our drive and our motivation and all types of different things. Hey, Anita in Alabama, good to see you there. So let's get into this. Hey, Mariam in Berlin in Germany, great to see you. So let's go through some of those things, some of those reasons why people have, guys, especially why guys have low testosterone. And one of the most common things that we see is that as the BMI, body mass index, which is, it's not a perfect test to see somebody's overweight or not, but as that BMI goes up, testosterone levels go down. There's a direct correlation between those two. So what do we know? Well, the more overweight somebody gets, the less testosterone they have in their body. And here's the key point. Is it because people are not producing as much testosterone, or is it because the body's actually converting that testosterone over to estrogen? And this is a really key point, because a lot of people think, oh, I just need to drive more testosterone, or they go to the low T center and they get a pellet and now they've got more testosterone in their body. But for most people, most guys, it's a low testosterone state because they're actually spilling that over into their estrogen. So tell me this, how many guys do you know would want to have hot flashes, would want to have, even start getting man boobs, and some guys can even start lactating. They can get so much estrogen in their body. I've seen guys come in and they have estrogen of menstruating females because they're spilling their testosterone over into estrogen. So this is one of the biggest things that we see here. Hey, Carolyn. Hey, Elizabeth in Dubai. Good to see you. So here's one of the biggest things that we see is that as that body mass index, as somebody's body fat percentage goes up, you're going to convert more testosterone into estrogen, and thus you'll have less testosterone, higher estrogen, and you'll be basically feminizing yourself. So obesity, just that action of having more body weight, more body fat, but ultimately this takes a step back, and it is a blood sugar thing. And so the worse the blood sugar is out of balance, the higher the blood sugar is, the more insulin resistance, we're going to be spilling that testosterone over into estrogen. We see it all the time. Phytoestrogens, this is another reason why we see low testosterone in guys. Phytoestrogens are going to be from soy products. It's going to be from the foods that we're eating. And if someone's eating a lot of soy, a lot of soybeans, things like that, they're going to be getting too many of these phytoestrogens in, and the body is not going to be producing as much testosterone. So, hey, Amanda, good to see you. So you need to, if you have low testosterone at all as a guy, you need to definitely focus on not eating those soy products. Decreased exercise and activity. This is a huge one. 100 years ago, 150 years ago, guys were out on the farm, on the ranch, doing things. And then they converted and started going into factories and into cities, things like that. But still, we're like lifting boxes and doing, wrenching on cars and all these different things. But now guys are sitting in cubicles, sitting at their computer, and then they go home and play video games or watch TV, and there's hardly any physical activity in these guys' lives. The body needs physical activity to make more testosterone. It's stimulating. It's like, hey, we've got this activity going on, we better prepare for it. So next time you're out pushing some weights around, the body's going to think, man, I better make some more testosterone, because guess what? Tomorrow I might need to do this again, and the next day. And so it's really what you've done over the last month or two is what is setting the tone for your metabolic state and your muscle tone state. So if you have low testosterone, you or a loved one has low testosterone, you've got to get moving. You've got to get activity. You've got to start working on muscle activity. You can't just go, I'm going to take some testosterone and it's going to build it up. You're probably still overweight. You're probably still having the blood sugar insulin resistance, still spilling it over to estrogen. And then you get more testosterone, but you also get more estrogen, and it even gets worse in there. So you've got to increase that exercise and that physical activity. Here's another big one that a lot of people don't think about. The research shows marijuana decreases testosterone in the body. This is a huge part of the puzzle, and a lot of guys nowadays, marijuana is legal all over the country, and so a lot of guys go home and they smoke a couple joints, they use it to relax, all types of different things. Marijuana decreases testosterone production in the body. Brianna, my husband, has been taking supplements. He is a UPS driver. Check his for insulin resistance, check his ferritin, check his A1C. You want to see what his blood sugar is doing. So just going out and doing exercise, I think that's what you're getting there at, Brianna, is that, he's a UPS driver and they're running nonstop. But just doing exercise, I always say you can't out-exercise poor diet, and that's not going to fix it. You've got to address it from that metabolic state as well. So marijuana, huge part of this puzzle as well. Marijuana decreases the testosterone production in the body. And then we have environmental toxins, and this is going to be in your water, in your food, pesticides, herbicides, all these plastics, BPA linings in cans, plastic water bottles. All of these things have estrogenic effects on the body. They're going to decrease the toxins, can settle into the areas where we produce our sperm and our testosterone. And that's another really important point. We've got half the sperm production in men than we used to as well. So sperm production has gone down as testosterone has gone down. So people talk about population control and all that. We don't need to. We've actually got that happening naturally in guys because we have such low testosterone. Here's the thing. There's a swimmer in the NCAA, and it's born a male and now swimming as a female. And in order to do that, they only need to be below 300 on their testosterone level. And we see guys all the time come in, even in their 30s and 40s, they come in under 300. Just naturally, they're already that low. And yet they could basically go and compete as a female at that point. And why is that? That's the biggest question that we've got, is why are those guys so deficient in the first place? And so you've got to look for these. There's an emotional component as well. And so a lot of men have been taught that being masculine is bad, that we had somebody send over a wedge interview, basically a digital video interview for a job position that we have, and he said that he likes an environment where it's not not all masculine driven, and that it's more free flowing and things like that. And just the thought that masculine is bad and that neutral or whatever the opposite is good, has a decreasing effect. If you're constantly saying, hey, I gotta calm down my masculinity, the body will produce less testosterone as well. So we have a lot of different things going on that are contributing to this low testosterone. So what we have to do, a couple things when we start talking about guys getting their testosterone back. One, like Brianna said, her husband drives for UPS. You've got to get out and get that physical activity. Every day, you've got to be moving, exercising, getting up, picking things up, pushing, pulling. It doesn't have to be going to the gym, but it could be, going and bucking hay bales just for fun, moving hay bales around your property. Whatever it is, you've got to get out and have physical activity every day. Number two is going to be to stabilize your blood sugar. So you need to keep your blood sugar 85 to 110 as consistent as possible. This is why I wrote my book, Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie. Brittany will put down a link below for that one. And in there, I get into all of these different reasons why we have blood sugar imbalances and what to do about it. But blood sugar, this is why we do a continuous glucose monitor, so we can know exactly what that range is supposed to be. And if it's going too high, it's going to start creating insulin resistance. It's going to start creating this prediabetes, and that opens the floodgates, testosterone into estrogen. We have low T. So we've got to get this as stabilized as possible. Blood sugar, number one thing you can do for your testosterone. You've got to start filtering your water. If you don't have reverse osmosis in your house, then you need to get some type of a filter. You need to bring in that filtered water. You have to get that water as clean as possible. Air filter, we're going to be posting my favorite air filter on here next week as well. And you've got to filter out that air, and you have to start taking things out of plastic. Almost everything we eat, drink, everything comes in plastics. These all have a dramatic effect on someone's testosterone production. So you've got to get that going. And here's one thing that a lot of people don't talk about is being around other guys and doing masculine things actually helps produce more testosterone. And doing a men's Bible study, or going and doing a hike every week with guys, doing something with other men, especially with physical activity, will get that hormone production. Just like if you put a bunch of women together, a lot of times their menstrual cycles will stabilize out with each other and go at the same cycle. Guys can actually help each other build more testosterone. Just being around more men, you're going to have this ability. Just like elk out in the wild, they're going to be button heads, and you're going to try to build up to the highest in the herd. And so that's something that is really important that a lot of people don't talk about, is being around guys and being masculine, not being chauvinist and not being rude and all those things, but doing masculine things. And if you look back at the old Roman days and Greek and Spartans and all of that, I mean, even from the time they were little kids, they were out there wrestling and sword fighting and doing things and getting physical activity. Another thing can even be cold showers, cold baths. A friend of mine made a note of this, that in the Roman Empire, when they brought in hot baths, they said that's going to be the end of the Roman Empire. It's going to make us soft. And you know what? The next generation, that's when the Roman Empire crashed, was actually after they brought in hot baths. And so I'm not saying you have to do a cold bath every time, but there's something to that ability for the body to handle different things. And so there's a difference here that we're talking about. There's a fine line between masculinity and being chauvinist and all these other things. And so that's where society, if we want to get into that whole part of it, society has taken this hard left turn of, okay, it's bad to be masculine. It's bad to have male attributes, things like that. But in reality, it's what makes us men and women, what makes our physiology so important for us. So there's some things that you guys can do, for you or a loved one. It's really important to figure out why it's low in the first place, and then you've got to get into what you can possibly do for that. So let's recap. Over 50% reduction in testosterone, but also in sperm count in the last 50 years, and it's on average 1% per year. We see it because of obesity, body mass index, fat percentage. The higher that goes, the lower the testosterone goes. A big part of that is because of the blood sugar insulin resistance. Phytoestrogens, soy products, things like that. Marijuana is a huge decreaser of testosterone. So the environmental issues, plastics, all of those things, BPA, and then the emotional component, demasculinating men. Look, Luis, what do women need to do to regulate hormones? So you know what? I'm going to do a video tomorrow on female testosterone and female hormones. But here, I'll give you a little tidbit. I always say low testosterone in men is directly proportional to their blood sugar imbalances, and low testosterone in women is directly proportional to the amount of stress that their brain is under and dealing with. So we'll get all into that tomorrow. Check out our other videos. Brittany will pop down some links down below. You can jump ahead and watch some of those that I've done in the past. But yeah, we'll be digging deep into women's hormones and testosterone, especially tomorrow. So thanks for jumping on, everybody. Love having you. Make it a great day and stay strong out there.